I'm that girl, and it could be said, who gets triggered with disinformation and ego-based disempowerment of their followers for those influencers who are still trying to sell a fear-based narrative or an ego-based narrative. As we know, with every industry, every system, there is always got that undesirable element of ego and self agenda and manipulation and coercion. And there is a lot. And so what it seems to be my Achilles heel is spiritual people saying bullshit, utter bullshit, to make people afraid, to make people follow them blindly because they are the one source of information, to sell their own agendas out to people for however that may look like. And it's getting really tiring. And so many people are awakening quite profoundly and connecting in with themselves so prolifically that they're starting to spot these people out from a mile. And through my journey doing quantum sessions, either BQH or QHHT sessions, a lot of the clients, usually towards the end, when I'm having an interview with them to find out what's going on and where they're sort of stuck and what they want a clarification on, sometimes they will tell me, actually it's quite often, that they will tell me about their spiritual journey and who they sort of followed as their stepping stones. And often, and you may have heard this time and time again in the quantum sessions that I share in a different channel, Conversations with Heaven on Earth, that these people can't resonate with people that they love and adore and respect as human beings, but the information is just not resonating with them for whatever reason. And often the clients will confess and say, maybe I'm just not getting it. Maybe I'm really low density, and you know, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And that triggers the shit out of me, because I feel so deeply for these people who are trying to find the truth and navigate, and then always the subconscious will say, oh, they've already risen above that limited perspective that the influencer that they love and adore is trying to sell them and promote and share with the world. And so it always boosts up the client, but it always makes me feel so sad that people have blindly led these influencers down their own agenda, down their own garden path. And we know we're only as good as the amount of inner work we've done. And so when the influencers don't have true faith and don't have true trust and haven't truly mastered their own inner work, everything that they project out to you and to the world is all of that density of their inner work, lack of faith, lack of trust, lack of understanding of the metaphysics, and still trying to project themselves out as being connected. And I'll just quickly give you an example of someone who is still in fear base and trying to manipulate people into their information while still trying to hide behind fear. So, as you know and have seen first-handedly, I'm a pure channel. And so you've seen I totally put myself out of the equation to allow my body to be the vessel to be able to connect in with the collectives, our guides, whomever you want to label them as. And so you've seen that, and you know, it is what it is. You've also heard, you know, over a year of different sessions and channeling from on the other side of it. You've also heard all of my clients. No, sorry. You've also heard all the sessions where all of my clients have been channeling their teams, their subconscious, other collectives, other beings, a whole lot of range of smorgasbord of experiences and activities and information from those sessions. So that's what these sessions are. They are getting everyone who is the vehicle in a very deep state of relaxation to be able to then connect into high dimensional beings, whomever they are, wherever they are. So I share the raw sessions, so you are not hearing me mansplaining it or taking over and giving my twist and slant and perspective from all of the inner work that I still haven't overcome and all that crap. They're there raw, and there's so many of the sessions there asking the same questions and hearing the similar information just from the perspective of the vehicle. My analogies may not work for other people when their teams are trying to give them the analogies for the examples of what they are needing to know and understand from the sessions. So, you know, it's not exactly word for word, but the concepts and the content is the same, regardless of what session. So, and even regardless of what collective, of course, we haven't explained and explored from a person who is within the reptilian collective, for example, their aspect of it. But we have called them in and explored and experienced all that information. And it's, you know, you don't need to be from the reptilian collective to be able to connect in with representatives of them to be able to hear the aspect of it. And, you know, we're mature and we can respect all life contracts, and all collectives have a very worthy experience. And, you know, while we may not like all their choices, we have to accept that they are able to do what they're doing as part of their journey and life contracts. And this is why we have many collectives supporting and working together behind the scenes to make sure that it is not that is going according to their plan from their bigger perspective. They can see all aspects of it. It's incredible, and way too much for our little, for my little monkey mind to process. And I just trust, you know, that all of the details of all the connections are, you know, are very much monitored and supported. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so. I feel like they're just saying, get on with it. So what I want to say to you is, if you are listening to someone who claims that they're channeling, you need to then understand that what they are channeling, if they are still just talking away like this to me, to you, to me, this, I'm having a conversation with you. I'm having a conscious mind conversation with you. I can do feel them coming in, but I'm still here. Joe's still here talking, and I am giving you my conscious mind impressions and to be able to express what they're giving. And so this isn't channeling. This is me having a conscious mind conversation with you. And you have seen me go into that deep state of relaxation to channel them. That is pure channeling. That is me fully taking out my ego and my consciousness to be able to then lend my body to be their vehicle and the vessel. So we all get that. So if you are listening to people claiming that they are channeling and you do not see them stepping out consciously and fully channeling out to you, they are not channelers then. Why be afraid? Why be afraid to share your true connection, your true information as you are channeling? Why are people transcribing it and reading it out to you what they channeled? Why? Not triggered at all, but fully triggered. And so when people are using spiritual words and we want to trust someone who is saying, I'm a total channeler, but I'm just going to read to you my transcript of a quantum session that I had. No, this session speak for themselves. That frequency within the session speak for itself. You can energetically feel it. What ego person must manipulate the session and transcribe it and read it out to you? That is not what needs to happen at all. So what are they hiding? When people are saying that they're channelers, but you never hear them or see them channeling, what's going on there? Because we have to start asking these really difficult questions. And while we may love people personally and just think that they're really special and lovely, blah, 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 let's not get tripped into our loyalty and friendships with influencers who are saying one thing, that they do one thing, and yet there is no actual evidence, there's actually no proof, and there's a lot of assumptions that they're doing it, and yet have you actually seen them? Have you actually heard their sessions? Have you actually seen them channel? Because if they are truly able to channel, as they're saying and suggesting to all of their followers, why is this not public? So a lot there. And it's not because I'm not judging them and their choices to manipulate people and coerce people. I'm just really disappointed that they could actually be and do as they say if they actually got over their egos, did enough of their inner work and dropped the fear, dropped the worry, and truly stepped up to what they obviously want to do for humanity. So why? Why are they still not stepping up? Are they afraid? So again, people who are afraid of things are selling stuff like 5G protection. We can trust we are protected from 5G. So again, when people are afraid, they are showing us that they have no faith and they don't trust and they don't understand that their teams are right there protecting them and protecting us. So if they're afraid, they are going to be telling you about boogie monsters, 5G, all this scare, all this worry, and hey, just pay me some money and I'll get you sorted out. I'll protect you. It sounds very ego-based, doesn't it? So we now can start noticing those influencers who are selling products for protection when we have got natural guaranteed protection, unless we use our free will to say, yes, this 5G that doesn't actually exist, I'm going to create it in my mindset and I'm going to be impacted by 5G. I'm going to use all of my free will to focus on this and be really vulnerable victim to 5G. It's going to get me. It's definitely here. I can feel it. I'm going to manifest it all within my body. And now I'm going to just keep holding on to this and telling myself and telling everyone I'm impacted by 5G. Okay, there's a choice, that is fine, but it's not one that I need to believe in, because I've asked so many subconsciouses about 5G technology, because I am worried when I hear certain things. I think, oh, is this true? Like, guys, do you know this? Like asking the collectives, hey, still 3D Joe here. Do we need to worry about certain things? Has something changed? Tell me more about it. And every single time they say, yeah, we already know about it. Catch up. I am frustrated with this, so I need to release it. I'm frustrated because my heart hurts for those people who are trusting these influencers and still not getting the full information, trusting these influencers and then still being told that 5D is just a mindset and we're already here on New Earth. We don't go anywhere. Okay. So then please explain to me the hundreds of sessions I've had with clients around the world disproving that, because they are physically channeling their own teams and saying something quite different. So a lot of these influencers refuse to respond to my questions to them because that is too hard for them to actually truly go in and truly channel, truly do their inner work, get over their fear and be honest. So, and then there is something else. So because we have faith and because we trust our teams, we do not have to keep asking for protection. We are safe automatically, unless we are buying into fear, unless we're vulnerable victims who lower our frequency so much that we're open to everything. And even if we do feel our high dimensional teams, we will be dismissing it and then calling it demons or lower entities or whatever labels we want to say to make it really scary and we're so vulnerable, blah, 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 fucking blah. Okay, so I just think I'm really done with this, because if you're selling information, if you're an influencer and you're still spreading fear and not giving the higher perspective of the metaphysics, you are doing a disservice. It's just that simple. And I feel like I'm fully ranting, but I'm so passionate about it, because what I've ultimately been doing in my own personal agenda is to be able to get all our collectives to give us this information so we can understand what the heck is going on. And when we're constantly listening to massive influencers who have got huge followings and they're still trying to say, definitely be in fear, guys, we're fucked. This is the nightmarish. This is the worst of everything. We're done. We're doomed. Blah, 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 blah. So I've worked really hard and I have asked all these questions about, should we be afraid of this? Do we need protection for this? Blah, blah, blah. And every single time the teams keep saying, we've got this. We know what we're doing. We know what humanity is trying to do to itself. And so every time I've worried about certain, like the inoculations and all those, I feel like I'm whispering the inoculation. I would run to them just to double check, like, what is the purpose here? What's the significance? Help me understand the lessons here. And they've always been incredibly generous with the information to help us. And this is why we've all been able to grow. And so I just feel so compassionate to those people who first of all don't listen to their sessions and don't get the higher perspective and fall into this loop of fearing because an influencer told them, oh cool, don't worry about the virus is nonsense, but definitely worry about 5G, definitely worry about not protecting yourselves spiritually. And so I'm trying to also say, when you've seen me channel, I don't need to do some ritual to connect in with the teams. I don't, neither do you. So for someone to try and claim that you need to do a little ritual, a little protection ceremony, so you can keep yourself protected from the baddies, okay, fear-based information once again. And we know that when spirituality was starting to be like trendy and everyone was trying to get into how to do things, they were told, kind of like the ABCs of how to do the protocol. The protocol was, is definitely, keep away from, I want to almost be ridiculous about it. So, get yourself in your safe space, sage the house, remove any dark colors of clothing, take off your shoes, sacrifice a chicken, like all this kind of stuff. I'm being ridiculous because I need to uplift my mood, because this stuff does offend me, because the teams are saying they gave so many influencers the role of empowering people and supporting humanity, and those influencers have run off with their egos, tripped themselves over the lack of their own inner work, and now are negatively impacting those people who they were supposed to empower and inspire. And their life contracts are not fulfilled out. So then they kind of get taken offline. Spiritual people will get taken offline if they're misusing this work. That is for sure. You cannot misuse it. And so lots of people trip up on this. So for whatever reason, they're misusing it and they're going off their life contract. And so the teams will call off and say, we're not actually connecting in with you because you're not using this information and this energy correctly. But those egos will not notice that. So they will just then kind of just think, oh, this is different. I'll just pretend that I'm doing something cool. They are so ego-based, they will project out that they are doing something that they clearly are not. And they just do it continually. So I mean, we've heard that when Kyron comes in to many client sessions, he says the same thing. So if you know that channeler, it's, there's nothing personal about that man who is channeling him, except you're not of true service anymore. You were, but then you tripped over your ego, and now you've got a lot of people who are growing with your information, but it's not the true information from the higher dimensional perspective. So you're not actually sharing the full truth. Yeah, it's sad because many of his followers are wanting to find out the full truth because they're not resonating with the new earth being here. So I haven't figured out, I don't listen to him anyway, But what the subconsciouses have said, which I fully trust and understand, because they are from the high perspective, especially when the client loves the channeler, and they just kind of feel like, I don't know why I'm saying this, Joe, but I just want you to ask, that channeler, he's authentic, right? And you can feel them having this nagging feeling that it's not true, that there is something that's not resonating with them, but they want to push away their own intuition because they just love him, and he's been in their life for decades, and they just they've fallen in love with their personality, and that is fantastic. But while they're trying to fully trust that he is the one source of information, and everything that he is saying is from Chiron and that high dimensional being, there is disinformation there. So it really upsets them, actually, and really makes them really kind of disappointed, because they then feel bad that they trusted someone who was not from the high perspective. And, so then they go into like frustration with themselves, and they never blame him. They never blame the channeler who is tripping over himself with ego. They always blame themselves. And that's what I think I get the most heartbroken about, is that then they blame them. So it's nothing really to blame. It's just more, we just need to understand that these were lessons for us, and they should have trusted their little instincts of just something doesn't feel quite right, and I don't know what. And because most people don't call themselves channelers, and so they trust those people who do call themselves channelers, we give away our power and our opportunities to connect in with ourselves over listening to the professionals. And as we know, we've listened to many professionals in every aspect, and it's really hasn't been the most appropriate information. So I ranted enough. So fantastic experience with church on Sunday. One of my beloveds, who I just adore, she was sharing something. So she did a whole day of healing for people. She's incredible. And she was driving home, and she realized, oh my gosh, I did something that I normally would do. And so she'd forgotten. And what she'd forgotten is to do her little ceremony of protecting herself and asking for protection, to keep herself safe, all this stuff. Intuitively, she knew she didn't even need to do that anymore. This is an old routine that actually doesn't serve her. And because she's grown so quickly, we've had a few sessions, and she's really just stepping into her glory. And I love that for everybody. And this is why I always recommend having your own sessions over, say, someone channeling for you, or, whatever, because your teams know you. And when you can fully surrender and trusting that they love you so much that they're just gagging to tell you everything to be able to help you get unstuck, why would you miss that opportunity? And as we know, there are many interns that are free. And so there is nothing truly stopping you apart from your shyness or your assumption of what being in a deep state of relaxation could be. And so trust, we can fully trust, we can fully have faith. And I'm feeling excited now, because I feel like a lot of people are having massive aha moments as I've been speaking. So that is very fun. So anyway, when we learn to do things originally, the ABCs, the protocol of spirituality, let's just now explore, do those protocols, do those little rituals and routines actually serve us? Do we really believe that we need to keep asking for protection? We are always protected when we ask or not. And if people are still listening here and they say, no, we have to always ask for protection. Okay, then, so let's all do it. We're going to ask for our teams to always protect us. Always. I'm going to ask one time. Guys, that's it. I'm using my free will. Always protect me. How could they say no to that? And so they've always been protecting us. That's literally their roles. They're guides. They're experts. They are so much more wiser and see so much more perspective for us. And while there may be some times where we think, oh, well, you weren't protecting me when I did that. And then they will say, well, yeah, that was a lesson. Don't put your fingers in the sockets or something. So, you know, they don't helicopter us. And they will know what is the best for us. And sometimes falling on our bums is the best for us, even though it hurts and maybe embarrassing and humiliating if it's in public. They will be doing it for a very significant purpose and reason. So we can fully trust that too and be appreciative of all of the opportunities and lessons that we have had. So in summary, I love you guys so much. And I want to almost protect you from the bullshit. I almost want to protect you from all those people that are constantly giving you disinformation about the spiritual world. And I just don't want anyone to keep buying into fear and bullshit. We are beyond that now. We should know better now. And I feel like when we keep supporting these people, these influencers who are selling fear, who are selling ego-based disinformation, then aren't we kind of then allowing them to have this bad behavior, and aren't we enabling them? And can't we be asking them, why aren't you channeling in front of us? Why do you still feel like you need to ask for protection? Because we're always protected. Why do you have lack of trust? Why do you have lack of faith? Sometimes we need to encourage these influencers to stop and make them think about their own routines and their own procedures that they think that they need to do. Because sometimes when you think you're good at something, you get kind of stuck and you don't update your stuff and you don't grow. And this is why so many people are outgrowing these influencers, because those influencers are stuck at a certain level and they just are not willing to step up and expand out. And this is why all of the followers are jumping and finding many, many, many fantastic stepping stones along the way. Okay, I'm good. I've vented enough, but I need to find balance, because I feel the heartbreak of so many people who suddenly are awoken to someone they just love and adore, and then realize that the information that they've been selling them is very limited. And this really confuses them so deeply. So we have to accept where everyone is at and respect life contracts and trust that if we've been pushed into a new direction to listen to someone else, or just for radical ideas, go within and listen to ourselves, because we're always connected in with ourselves, always. It's not possible to be disconnected from the subconscious. We could run from them and they will laugh and say we can run faster. They know where we are at always. And so there's truly no need to do little rituals thinking that we're going to then have a clear channel to be able to connect in. So please revisit all of your belief systems of what metaphysics is, what spirituality is, and just see, have you accidentally in your tool belt popped in someone else's disbelief systems, disinformation, and put it in and applied it as if it's your own? Great time to really reflect on what we're doing and why, and see if we've got any routines of ourselves that we could probably drop. So I love you so much. Thank you so much for listening to me and my passion. I truly, truly, truly want the best for everyone. And I just think it's time for all of us to be awoken to all agendas and everyone's behavior. And again, we're not judging them, we're accepting their choices. But when we're on our true journey to empower ourselves, to then be able to be of service to empower others, how are we going with that? So thank you, everyone. I love you very much. I love you so much. I'm not actually going to sing there anymore. Okay, bye.